All right, everybody, we're back. Part 2, reassembly and re-shimming tuning of the DNM burner RCP2. Pretty requested video. I've actually kind of been getting almost hounded for this one. So where we left off is here with all of this. One thing I did do, I designed up a tool, a spanner wrench for this, so that it's easier to get out. Mine, you kind of have to hammer it in because I kind of jacked up the holes a little bit. But I'll post this model online. This top O-ring that I toasted a little bit with the torch to get this thing out is this right here. It's a metric O-ring, 2.4 millimeter by 15.3. The lower O-ring is whatever diameter is one smaller than this one, because it's just, this O-ring is the right cross section, but it's slightly too big. So here's the base valve assembly. I lost the footage for what this looks like, so I'm going to pull it back apart for what the fuck? I'm going to pull it back apart so you can see how this goes together. But we're not actually changing the shimming on this, because I couldn't really come up with anything better. Where's my 10 mil? Where's my 10 mil? Oh, here's the 10 mil. Yeah, I couldn't really come up with anything better in Restacker for this one, so we're actually leaving the factory valving on the base valve, which is pretty annoying because the base valve's way easier to revalve than the mid valve. So taking this assembly apart, we got a nice stack of actually a lot of shims here. Upgrade from that Suntour fork. We got this decent looking piston. It's symmetrical, which is fine. It looks like it's cast and then machined on the faces. Then we got the check valve shim. This spacer that allows the rebound fluid to flow. The spring for the check valve. And then in here you can see that there's a needle. That's how it goes together, and this is pretty well designed. It's definitely made to a price point with the cast piston, but like, I'm also, at least it's not plastic, so we got that going for us. I wish the base valve, instead of being in here, actually was clamped between the reservoir can in there, so we could use bigger shims, but it's not the end of the world. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back in. And that's honestly as tight as that needs to be with the O-rings and stuff. So again, remember what we talked about in the last video. These small ports are the rebound ports, but when you have the compression valving on here and it's on the cylinder, there's no way for fluid to get into the rebound circuit. Now, I almost think that they meant to design it this way and run but you still, then they couldn't fit this shim in as the check shim, because that's what I was kind of thinking of when I took this apart the first time, was that they put the piston in this shock upside down, because essentially the only rebound fluid that can flow is from here out through the needle, and that's not enough. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get out the die grinder and take the material out from here to here, so that when the shim is on, fluid can actually get into these ports for rebound, and then we can put rebound shims on this face, and then we'll actually have like a rebound circuit. I have here a RockShox piston that I bought hoping it would fit, just in case, because I got it wicked cheap. So you can see how this one is designed. It's got these freaking microscopic rebound ports, but it actually has a way for the fluid to get past the compression shim stack and in there. So I'm going to take the Teflon slider out, just in case have a little bit of a slip with the die grinder. And gonna grab a Sharpie. We're gonna draw on this thing for what we want to take off. Roughly. And we don't want to go down too far and get into the slider, but we're going to take it down all the way to the edge. So I'm going to hold it with the toolmaker's vise because it has flat jaws. I don't want to mar it up. And we're going to not use this tool, cutoff wheel. That'd be wrong. I could use my larger, like my proper die grinder, and not this basically over-designed Dremel from Proxxon. But I get a little bit more control with this thing. I guess I don't have a cylinder burr anymore. This one will do. Oh. Need a smaller collet. All right, headphone users beware, it's going to be a little loud. All right, so that should be good for the first one. I'm just gonna, once I finish all of them, I'm just gonna deburr that edge lightly with a file, because we don't wanna take down the edges too much, because that's what is the bearing for the piston in the main bore. Super precision really isn't required here. Basically, as long as you don't screw up and break into this port, you're not going to fuck this up. So that's why I'm not taking a super duper amount of time to make all of these exactly the same, because it doesn't actually matter. Okay. So now we can see when we put this on, fluid can get into the rebound ports. It's not a crazy amount. Actually, I kind of want to take these down a little bit more because I didn't factor for it being that shallow when I made the valve stack that I was initially going for. That wasn't tight enough. Ah, that was almost bad. You see what happened there when I skidded off? I would have wiped out the Teflon slider, and that would have been bad. Because I don't know how to get another Teflon slider. Or really any of the rebuild parts for this, besides like emailing DNM and begging. So if any of you Suron folks actually have a line on rebuild kits for this shock, you definitely want to share that in the comments. Oh, that's the cock draw. Yeah, this will be fine. Yeah, so now we can actually get rebound fluid into that thing. I'm out of brake clean, so this will work. I just want to solvent spray off any of the little dust that might have got on there and been stuck to the oil. So before we get too distracted, remember we got the rebound right here. We gotta clean these threads out and red Loctite this in. Yeah. That's probably good enough. No, not that one. Not that one either. There we go. Nice and tight. Okay, so we want to put the gland back on before we forget. Does that overhang? Does it not fit through the bushing? We're gonna take this back off before the red Loctite cures. And put it in after we put the gland end on. I'm gonna pull this apart because it doesn't want to go on. There we go. I didn't intend to take it apart this far. But now we can see how this is assembled. There we go. That's like, how do they sell this for $100? There's a lot of work that went into this thing. Ha! There's air trapped in the in that O-ring area, so this top out bumper doesn't want to go all the way in. So I gotta like push the top out bumper down and then feed this hog ring in. Man, my thumb's getting tired. There we go. All right, perfect. Now we can put this in. Click. All right, so we're keeping this shim from the compression valving stack because that's the travel limiter of the stack. It makes it so that you kind of get the you get the high speed compression to really like ramp up towards the end. So hold on while I open the laptop up and figure out how we're stacking up this new shim stack. Mid valve compression first. We're gonna go right to our brand new shims. We need the 8mm ID shims, which they all should be because we're only doing this one here. And we need 24mm OD. Yep. We need one 24mm OD. Whoa, that was almost bad. There's just one here, right? Yep. Then we need the 16s. We need two of these. Then we need another 24. Then we need 2 18s. And then 4 24s. That's 1, a 2, oh, I gotta be real careful because I forgot how thin these are and they stick together. So I was supposed to I had 12 of these in the box and I should have 6 left over. And I've only got 3 left over. So I definitely have too many in the stack. Is this 2 stuck together? No. Oh, now I got 4 left over. So that's definitely 1. Oh, too many 16s. So now I got 2 16s and not 3. Where's the 16 bag? 1 24. 2 18s. 12 12. Did they jip me 2 shims, or do I have more of these stuck together? Oh, yeah, here we go. There we go. Now I have 6 left over like I'm supposed to. The thick 20, and then the clamp shim. So here we go. Here's our shim stack. Why does this shim stack look so crazy? Because I'm a crazy person. Basically, you see how this shim stack would look if it was way zoomed in. So what that does is this first gap makes this line be at a lower slope than it normally. Can you see what I'm pointing at on the monitor? Yes, okay. So it'd be a lower slope, but then that one shim there opens up for a second and then the slope flattens out again. And then we hit all 4 of them and then it goes up. So that's the compression. Now we got to do the rebound shim. So for that, we need the 22 OD by 20,000 by 0.2 millimeters thick. Uh-oh. That's the first one that goes on here. Then we have this ring shim. And a 20 OD that goes inside of it. So you gotta make sure when you're doing ring shim and centering shim that the centering shim actually goes inside the ring shim. And then we need 2 more of those 22s. Kind of worried that this isn't going to really flow too much oil still because of the pocket it's in. But we'll try it anyways. An 18, a 16, a 14, and a 12. So while I'm putting these on, I'll explain that ring shim. So basically what that ring shim does is it lets the shims above it add preload to the outside of the first shim, which makes it, with basically those two shims, which makes it so that you make more force at low speed. But then once the shim stack starts to open up, it drops off. So you'll see that a lot in road going suspensions on the compression side, in order to like blow off when bumps happen. But you don't want to do that on an off-road suspension, because most of the harsh events that you're experiencing on off-road suspension really happen in the low speed area. But for rebound, it's helpful to let you damp out any of the oscillations that you could be experiencing. There's not very many threads holding this nut on anymore because I made the total shim stack for the mid valve quite thick, but I don't think it's going to be a real issue. That should be tight enough. So there we got our completed set of shim stacks for compression and rebound. We got our base valve. We got our factory here. Oh, I kind of glossed over it when I was building it. I put the clamp shim that was originally on here for the rebound shim as the clamp shim on this too, because it was helpful to not have to buy clamp shims. So I'm maximizing the oil volume in here to make it easier to bleed. And then once we've got all of the air out, we'll set the IFP depth and then put the IFP cap back in. Okay, get that out all the way. We got the rebound all the way fast. We're gonna take our brand new bleed kit that we bought that has metal fittings, and we are going to find the correct fitting that threads into this to put a hose on it. Okay, it's smaller than that one. Must be this one. Yep. Let's see what we got for small hoses. Got my chain waxing set up. Gonna move that out of the way for a second. What do we have for small rubber hoses? This a good size? Oh yeah. Mint. This is probably enough length. So the idea with this hose is I'm gonna hold it up long enough. I'm gonna hold it up here so that we can fill this whole thing and the air will come out this. So we got our red line like water, because it should be the best. And we're gonna bleed this baby. This first little bit is probably gonna be pretty messy. All right, now that I have oil all over my hands, I need to use the computer to figure out from my notes what the IFP depth is supposed to be. Well, that's a weird smelling oil. 41.6 millimeters. Wow, you see there's a whole bunch of air in there. So now we need the one that has a none of these will screw onto the reservoir cap. That's cool. Guess that's close enough. All right, we need to use zip ties and make this less shitty. Oh, these are excessive. Perfect. Hopefully my wife won't watch this video and see what I'm about to do with her tripod. Ah. Ah. Ah! Whoops. I'm making a freaking mess. I thought this was gonna be the low mess way to do it. But, oh God. This would really suck if I used a shock fluid that was high viscosity. I don't recommend that you bleed it this way, but I'm already committed. All right. Oh, I saw some more air bubbles make their way up. Oh shit balls. Yep, more air bubbles. It's a pain in the dick. Ugh. Damn, there's still bubbles coming. We're gonna have to speed the hell out of this. Because this has been an hour-long recording so far. Nobody's gonna want to watch this. Maybe they will. I don't know. Comment if you made it this far in the video. Say that you're a winner. I'm not a quitter. Oh, fuck you. More bubbles still. Oh, LOL. We've had the rebound slowed down for some of this. Oh, that's much easier to pull out now. How bad is it if we slow it all the way down? Oh, neat. This one, it's not completely locked out now that there's actually frickin' shims and a path for the oil to get there. You can actually extend the shock with the rebound needle all the way closed. Now it still ain't easy. You can definitely do it. Fuck. Bubbles right at the end. Come on, Bubbles, break. Those are the same bubbles as before. Just make sure when we suck her out that our IFP depth is still right. Yep. All right. I'm calling it. Ugh. All right, let's clean up all the oil. It's gonna fucking destroy the plastic on this thing, I bet. You could see where that got a little toasty from when I was torching the things. Oh yeah, I was gonna figure out what thread you'd need your Schrader valve to be. No, it's way bigger than that. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. It's finer than that. It's smaller than that. You can tell I got choices. So it's an M10. Yep, M10 by 1. So if you want to put a Schrader valve in the stock cap, you need it threaded M10 by 1. I'll have to see if that exists. All right, to get that actually tight, we're gonna have to pump it up. And I figured out why I struggled so much with that poking it in the first time, and I got it perfect that time. There's actually a centering dimple on that, and it was installed upside down. So it was facing into the shock, the centering dimple, so I faced it out. We're gonna put 150 PSI in the IFP. After we put the lid on the red line. I just think that fully depressurized. Oh no, there's definitely pressure in there. That was the air from the hose. Cap that so I don't stab the shit out of myself. One of the viewers pointed out that I'm an idiot and bought a 65 millimeter stroke spring for my 85 millimeter stroke shock. So I found a good deal on a Fox spring that's the right length. And oh boy, just barely fits. But I don't need that spring perch adapter anymore. Did I reassemble this wrong? No, that spring is a little bit longer. And there's definitely no more extension. We're just gonna have to jam her in there. That was not recommended. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I basically set the valving that I designed up so that I'd be in the middle of both adjusters, because I'm custom valving it for myself. Go make sure I'm in the middle of the adjuster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. Like I can compress a 350-pound spring a noticeable amount with my 150-pound self. All right, so there's snow on the ground, but I'm going to go put this in the bike, and future me will make a video where I say how it feels. Deal? Yeah, that's where we're at. I'm going to do that. And that one will probably talk more about Restacker, because anything I say now, I'm just going to be talking out my ass because I don't know how it rides. Bye now. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever. That shit. Do it. Bye. Thing real quick. The Fox spring is long enough that it's really hard to put this end cap on. So everywhere where it's silver, you're going to want to clearance it. Hold on. Focus, you fuck. There we go. Everywhere that it's silver here, you're going to want to clearance it, and you'll have a much better time getting it on. It's still a two-handed operation. Actually, it's only one hand to get it on, maybe. But, fucking bitch. Whatever. You get the idea.